Hi, this is Dina, Paige, in Toronto, Canada, and I host 4 events every month where we follow the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, and we share his teachings and his practice and discuss it as a local group. And I just finished a session yesterday, and the topic of discussion was obstacles to awakening, something that Eckhart Tolle had talked about in his School of Awakening, which I attended and I completed. And I thought it would be worthwhile highlighting the 5 major reasons and obstacles to awakening. And the first one being accepting the isness of now. The second one being the finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. We use concepts in order to describe things in the physical world. However, that's not only a pointer, but it's also a hindrance to us understanding. The third point is that awakening is not something that's achieved in the future. It's not something that you can have or acquire, or it's something that is going to be achieved. The fourth event is clearly our ego, our monkey mind, which hijacks us, hijacks our thoughts on a continuous basis, and that also prevents us and is an obstacle. The fifth thing is when we meet other people. Other people can be obstacles to our awakening. So if I were to sort of go over all of these 5 points just a little bit more, they're very interesting, and they're great to have as a 5-point check that you can sort of have as a reference to having in the back of your mind whether any of these things are causing you to veer off track. The first one is accepting the isness of now, and Eckhart has said countless times that the biggest difficulties human beings have is challenging what is. And if we accept what is and not accept, not dwell on the past or the future, and accept that and acknowledge that what is happening is happening. It's not something that we can debate or is questionable. So if we accept the isness of now, we're eliminating, as he quotes, almost 95% of the problems that we manifest in our minds. Pointing the finger, the second point is finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. Buddha had talked about that in his teachings, and it basically means that the finger is like signposts or roadmaps to where we're going. The roadmap isn't the actual terrain, and so language is a very cumbersome and often inadequate to describe some of the most important things in life, such as love, what is a thought, what is light, what is love. We can't use language to accurately describe these incredible phenomena. So language gets in the way of us achieving awakening. Awakening is not something that you can have or acquire. It's not something, in the distant future, when I finish the meditation, I will be enlightened. When I finish the course, I will be enlightened. And then I will have it, and it will always be here. It's not an object, and it can't be achieved, and it's not some future event. And the past and the future, as Eckhart says, are only concepts. They don't exist in the real world. The fourth point, your ego, your monkey mind, continually hijacking us from a clear mind. The idea is to remove most of the things that occupy our mind, and the ego constantly fills us with stuff that is unnecessary, distracting, and often harmful to our natural state of mind, in which we should be accepting the nothingness that can exist in the mind. You can condition yourself to not think. Thinking is only necessary a very small percentage of the time. The last thing is other people. Not only other things, other events, but certainly other people. The first thing that comes to mind, or our first line of defense when we meet another person, is our ego pays attention and does judging, and it evaluates, and I like that, I don't like that, I'm going to pay attention to this person, I'm not going to like them. Our ego is the first line of defense. And yet a second later, or a very short while after, is when our conscious mind comes into play, and that's where we become objective and more insightful, and tap into our essence identity, as he calls it, or the deep I. So those are the 5 points. I think they're worth writing little notes on your fingers. And they're a handy thing to have for when you're battling your daily events. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to sharing more Eckhart thoughts as he inspires me, and he inspires my group, and inspires the rest of the world. Thank you.